Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone and good morning. Do you want to know what is the topic for today? Okay, so we are going to continue with topic 6 this week. The topic is effective learning and effective teaching. So, are you curious on what is effective teaching and what is effective learning? So, let's continue with what we are going to cover for today. Nur Shahira will introduce and define what is effective learning and what is effective teaching for you. And also, Hamiza will continue to discuss about best practices. And also, Putri Daniel will discuss with you about the transfer of learning and knowledge. And then we will continue with Sharifah Hazira, who will discuss about classroom issue management, and also last one, Amiza will discuss about impact and closure. And lastly, we are going to do conclusion together in the live class. Thank you. Let's get started. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to my lecturer, to our lecturer, Miss, and all my fellow friends. So, my name is Nur Shahira binti Muhammad Radzi. I'm going to be the first presenter for this group. Our topic today is going to be effective teaching and effective learning. What is effective teaching and what is effective learning? I will explain to you and define for you later in this topic. But before that, we are going to see why we have to learn this. Why we as a future teacher, we have to know what is effective teaching and what is effective learning. Okay. Firstly, why we need to learn this is because we as a future teacher, we need to know our role as a teacher. What is our role as a teacher? What can we achieve for these students? What would these students have to achieve in this class for these subjects and certain topics? So, we have to know our own focus and our role to help the student to achieve the outcomes. And also, we have to recognize the student learning needs, what the students need in this class to have an effective learning. How we are going to do the effective teaching in this class. And also, it is most important for us to understand that the teaching and learning in classroom are related to each other, so that we can help to acknowledge the teaching and learning in the class, and also help to maximize the lesson that the student will learn during the class. So according to Kenneth Feldman, he said that from his previous research, he said that teacher and student associate with each other to make an effective teaching. How is this happen? He also states that teacher is very important to have a good communication skills, to be as interesting, and to be available and helpful to the students. How to be available? We have to know how to give feedback to the students and always be in a ready state to help the student. This is also considered as being helpful. And also, effective teaching is said to be helping your students to achieve the best result that they can. This means that we have to maximize their potential. Effective learning. So, effective learning is to say that it is an acquisition and a mastery of what is already known based from the previous experience and previous knowledge that one has, based from what Smith 2004 has said from his previous research. And also, it is also said that it is an extension and clarification of what he has already experienced and the knowledge previously. And also, as an organized intentional process of testing ideas that is relevant to know how it is, how the process, how the functions, and how to solve the certain problems regarding the knowledge by using the knowledge and by using the previous experience regarding the problem. Okay, next. From the diagram, you can see that the Burnet's diagram of teaching and learning relationship, you can see that the learning process is in between the teacher and the students. People is the students. So, you can see it is very related to each other. Teacher helps to maximize the student knowledge and helps to acquire the students' previous experience and previous knowledge during the teaching. And also, the students will grasp the idea from his previous knowledge and previous lessons during their learning, so that both of teaching and learning can be as effective as it is, because we already know that effective teaching and effective learning is about the relationship between these two, of relating teaching and learning to make an effective teaching and effective learning. So we have to relate both of this, and relate the commitment between the students and the teachers are very important also in this, to make an effective teaching and learning. And also we know that in order to make an effective teaching and effective learning, the students learns in progress. They are process and progress also. This is why we have the teacher need to have a lesson plan, because student learn in stages. Okay, in order to help them to achieve the learning outcomes and educational objectives, so we have to make it in stages to help they to take out their previous experience and knowledge. Okay. And also there, as you can see in cycles, educational objectives, learning experiences and evaluation are all in cycle, because the learning and the educational objectives is setting what the student need to achieve, and it is a guideline for the teachers too. And also the learning experience is what we have to take up from the students from their previous knowledge and experiences. And the evaluation, like the tests, experiments, and everything that they are taking from their learning experiences to solve the problem. And the thing are in cycle. Okay, that's all from me. I will proceed this presentation to the next presentation.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nur Hamizah binti Sadiman. So after we know the definition of effective teaching and learning by Nur Shahira, let we continue to the best practice in effective teaching and learning.
First of all, what is the best practice? The term best practice has been used to describe what works in a particular situation or environment. When data support the success of practice, it is referred to as a research best practice or scientifically based practice. Next, why the best practice is very important for the teacher? It is because first, teacher can decide on appropriate teaching strategy and intervention. Second, using school property and resource appropriately. And the last is maintaining high standards of professionalism, probity, and the performance.
Actually, there are a lot of best practice that teacher can be applied, but in this presentation, I just focus on 3 standards of best practice, which is first, teacher clarity, second, working in group discussion, and the last is get some feedback.
First, teacher clarity. For example, teacher begin the lesson with short review of previous learning to create student ideas of the topic. And then, when teacher asks for doing some assessment, teacher must clarify clearly the purpose and the learning goal. It is ideal to also present some model or example to the student so that they can see what the end product look like. And however, also allocate tasks based on student ability to ensure no one get left behind. Second, working in group discussion. Teacher need to frequently facilitate the class discussion. This allows students to learn from each other. It is also a great opportunity for teacher to observe how well students are grasping the new contents and the concept. And furthermore, teacher can ask a question and observe student response to make sure that they have a two-way communication in the learning. Last but not least, get some feedback. Give student to provide feedback to the teacher so that she can adjust the learning process, material, and instruction accordingly. Ask students frequently if they understand what they are being taught, so that teacher can achieve the success criteria of the teaching and the learning. Moreover, we must keep in mind that teacher is a high profession. Without this implement the best practice, it will come a various issue nowadays. So, I give the example of the issue is first, isu kualiti guru perlu ditangani. Next, the issue also from the newspaper guru dan pelajar kepenatan. I think it may be because of ineffective teaching and learning in the class. For example, like the teacher need to cover all the syllabus and others. And then, cikgu rimau. Actually, it is issue came out because of teacher give unclear instruction to follow by the student. And the last is ramai guru tak seronok mengajar. So here we can see that there are a lot of issue and hopefully all this will can be settled.
So for the last, before I stop, I want to remind that high performance is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, careful planning, and skillful execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. So I hope we as a teacher-to-be can be an effective teacher soon.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Putri Diana binti Muhammad Asri and I am the third presenter for today. So today, I'm going to share with you on the transfer of learning. So stay tuned! My first point on enhancing the effectiveness in teaching and learning in class is use variety of learning media. You can use picture, you can use video, you can use application. You know, today there is many application that you can use as a teaching tools in your class. Okay, so when you use it as a teaching tools, you have to use as many different learning media as possible, such as you can play them a music in the class, a barat music an example, and you also can give them example by showing them a video from YouTube, right? So you know, there is a research that related to this point actually, where the research shows that when you use picture, narration and text, it actually prevent your student cognitive resource from becoming overload. What is mean here, you actually decrease their stress level in the class. They cannot easily be bored in your class and be more enjoy and attractive in your class. Okay, and it's actually improve the learning transfer. Okay, student also can perceive the content as easier to learn when visual were used, because they can directly relate the situation that they see with their daily life. So it can easily for them to remember the point. Okay, let's proceed to point number 2. My second point will be establish clear learning goal. Okay, based on this, I give you an example. If you want to teach chapter 1, before you teach, first of all, you need to give your student a clear learning goals. Okay, you need to give to tell them what point that they need to be focused on, what the thing that they need to highlight, what the formula that they need to remember. Okay, so based on that, your student can be able to focus on the right material. Okay, they also can enhance they also can enhance their understanding of what that you are trying to get out of your learning. Okay, and it's actually can measure your progress as you go along. Okay, like the example that I give you, you see, if you learning a new language, an example, making it as your goal to be fluent within 1 month. Okay, when you put a date, when you put a limit, so that you can know, okay, how much time that I have to ensure that I go for the goal. Okay, so that your teaching and learning can be more effective. My third point will be use analogy and metaphors as a transfer of learning to enhance the effectiveness in teaching and learning. Okay, what is the differences between analogy and metaphors? Okay, analogy is, I give you an example. Okay, light as feather, hard as rock. Okay, when you give this kind of example, student can be more understand because you actually relate it to their daily life. And also same with metaphors. Metaphors, or in easy word, we can say it as example. Okay, when you teach them a pressure, okay, so you can give them a metaphors or an example, like you wear a high heel, so there is pressure on it. Okay, the second one maybe on initial. When you simply tell them on initial, they cannot see it. But when you give them a metaphors or give them an examples, like when we are in the bus, we actually having inertia in our body. So when you give them a metaphors, they can easily remember, they can easily understand, and your teaching and learnings can be more effectively because your student can be more focused in your class. Okay, that's all for transfer of learning. So let's proceed for classroom issue management that will be presented by Sharifah Hazira.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Sharifah Hazira binti Syed Musa, and today I will explain about classroom management issues. Okay, my first issues is overcrowded classroom. Overcrowded classroom is one of the biggest issue facing school and teachers nowadays. Okay, it happened because of an increasing population, and supposedly the ideal class size will be 15 to 20 students per class, but now we can see there are many schools that have more than 30 students in one class. Even we have more than 40 students in a single class. So what will happen if we have overcrowded classroom? Firstly, it may lead to the disciplinary issues, where the level of noise too high because of there are too many students in one class. Okay, and then it will be difficult for for teachers to focus on individual. So what teacher can do to overcome these issues? Firstly, teacher can convey their expectation at the first day of the school. Tell your student the do's and don'ts during your class. The do's and don'ts, okay? And then teacher can assign students seat. For example, teacher can put the student that always make drama in front of the class. Lastly, teacher can take advantage of ability grouping. Whenever there is a discussion or exercise slot, teacher asks you can ask your student to form a group and let them discuss in that group, so everyone have the chances to contribute their opinion. So my next point is different learning pace. Okay, we all know that students being assigned in a class according to their grades, but maybe there is some student, for example, get C for science subject, but being assigned in a class with student that get A for science subject. So in that class there will be different pace of learning. Okay, the greater the number of student in one class, the that means the more learning style in one class. Okay, so what will happen? Okay, with inappropriate teaching strategy, student will get bored easily, and maybe some of them can't not able to follow the lesson. Okay, and it may lead to decline student interest in learning. So what teacher can do in order to overcome this issue? First thing first, teacher need to identify student learning pace, and identify the most suitable teaching strategy to entertain all students in that class, so that all students in that class able to follow the lesson. Next, my last point is disruptive talking. It is like student want to ask a question. They can't wait their teacher done explaining. The teacher until done explain for certain topic. They are eager to ask a question, eager to point out their opinion, for example. So this of course will give negative impacts on teaching and learning, because they do interrupt the lesson while teacher is explaining or discussing. They interrupt, so it may consume a lot of time for teacher to recap back what they are going to explain. For example, what the teacher going to discuss with the student. Okay, so what teacher can do to overcome this problem, like I already said before, teacher can convey their expectation for student, the terms and regulation for student. Okay, and then teacher can also provide time for student to ask question. For example, teacher want to explain 3 point. Okay, after done explaining the first point, maybe teacher can provide student time to ask a question before proceed to the second point. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you.
Lots of research support the fact that effective teachers who put a lot of effort on creating an effective teaching and effective learning process not only make students feel good about the school and learning, but also their work actually result on the increase of students' achievement. Let's take a look about a research that have been done by interviewing a few students regarding the huge impact that have given by their effective teacher during their high school that reinforce their performance during school. I remember a teacher during my junior year. I was impressed in his teaching, in his love of teaching and love of the subject that he teach. He went out his way throughout the year to encourage me to speak up in the class. He sensed that I was shy, so in a great skill, he asked me more and more and make me participate during the class discussion. He believed in me and always encouraged me. I will never forget him. There was a day I was really struggling on my written essay of my English subject, and then I still remember my favorite English teacher. He took his time to point out the good things in my essay and then keep encourage me to do better and better. So this thing motivate me, and Alhamdulillah, finally I got A- in my English subject.
I have a lot of favorite teacher that always teach me. Even though I make mistake, they will keep teach me and ask me that this is right, this is wrong, so that I can improve myself. But I remember a teacher, I was told by a teacher that my answer was stupid and I cannot pass my exam at all. So it's okay, I will keep positive and I will do my best to prove that I can. Oh, I still remember my genius math teacher who taught me and my classmate a different way to solve a math problem. A different way, so you know that if I can't do this way, I can do this way. So it shows that she's an expert teacher in math. She's very genius in math subjects. So as you can see in previous interview, we can see that there are a lot of qualities of effective teachers that actually give a huge impact in students towards students' achievement and also their study life. So I can conclude that the point given by the students, which is having a good teaching skills, where the teachers should have the good interpersonal skills along with effective speaking and strong presentation skills. An effective teacher also should be well prepared for their lectures or teaching, for ensuring that they carry all the material that help in the teaching and learning process in class. The second quality is the student engagement skill, where an effective teacher be receptive to their ideas of their students. The third one is about the subject matter expertise. So as an effective teacher, of course, they should stand in line with the change of their curriculum of their subjects. Especially as you know, there are a huge changing from KBSM to KSSM. So teachers and effective teachers should be expert about these changes. An effective teacher also have to be expert on demonstrate high level of subject matter expertise. Last but not least is about the passion and positivity as a teacher. So an effective teacher must reflect all the teaching experience so that they can improve their passion, their teaching and learning in order to create an effective teaching and effective learning. In fact, they should also maintain a positive attitude towards students and avoid negative element in the classroom, so that by doing all of this quality of an effective teacher, of course, we can maintain and having effective teaching and effective learning. So as a conclusion for this presentation, I would say that educational objectives, learning experience, and evaluation is important elements to have effective teaching and effective learning. So if you have any question, you can ask during the discussions class. And thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.